Hi, everyone. I'm Katinia McHenry with the McCombs School of Business, and you are joining us today on our Big Ideas Show, where we take a closer look into faculty research happening here at the McCombs School of Business. Joining me today is Sebastian Hohenberg, who is an assistant professor in our marketing department. Thanks for joining us today, Sebastian. Good to see you.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me, Katinia.
Sure. So today we're talking about a piece of research that Sebastian has worked on, and it is newly released in a new paper titled Marketing Excellence, Nature, Measurement, and Investor Evaluation. So talk to us a little bit about what the paper focuses on, Sebastian.
So basically there are two aspects. Yeah? So the first one is that we are investigating what is the content of marketing excellence. Yeah? It's a buzzword that has been around for some time. Yeah? There are various different understandings out there. And so we set out in order to understand these different comprehensions and try to triangulate the different perspectives. The second thing we then did is we used our conceptualization and tried to understand whether marketing excellence actually creates growth. And the findings are very, very compelling.
And talk to us a little bit about what marketing excellence is. What does that mean?
Mm-hmm. So marketing excellence is a strategy that is essentially focused at organic growth. And it has three elements. The three elements are the marketing ecosystem priority, the end user priority, and the marketing agility priority.
And how does it focus, or how does it relate to just customer service? Because I think a little bit of it focuses on the idea that the customer always comes first, and that's kind of the idea that's been in business. But your paper focuses on that shift. So talk to us a little bit about what that means and how it looks differently at companies now when it comes to customer service.
That's a great point. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, so when we look into textbooks these days, they are essentially telling us that you can achieve as a company, you can achieve growth by focusing on your customer, creating a value for the customer, and doing this in a better way than the competition does. Yeah? But according to our results, the best companies these days go way beyond that. Yeah? And so, for instance, when we ask them, how do you achieve growth? They mentioned something like platforms, ecosystems, engaging with the end user, agile methods. Yeah? And so putting the customer first, I think, is no longer that strategic emphasis that generates the largest growth. Yeah? And so companies go way beyond that.
And that's kind of a shocking thing now to realize that something that you've thought about and from a business standpoint and what you've learned from a business education standpoint, several years ago, it's no longer valid. So can you talk about some of the companies that are doing this very well? Are there ones that you've looked at and researched in your paper?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So for instance, there's an automotive company that we have worked with, and they are trying to connect the navigation system to the parking lots downtown. And for doing so, they have collaborated with a construction company. So a company totally outside of the current supply chain. And they have involved digital experts of Google and of other competitors of Google. And so we see that these, we call it ecosystems, that these ecosystems are going way beyond the traditional boundaries that we traditionally focused on.
And it's interesting, this shift, because I think the term collaboration, I think has been, there's been a real focus on companies collaborating with other companies in order to create a stronger, obviously stronger foundation, but sustainability as well. So was there a piece of this that focuses on longevity and long-term sustainability for a company?
Yeah, I think that this is incorporated in the term ecosystem. Yeah? So of course, the companies are profit-driven and growth-driven, and so they are still focusing on their own or increasing their own profits. However, we see a tendency that once these new ecosystems have been defined, that the companies try to become the main beneficiary of the ecosystem. However, they also look out for the partners in the ecosystem, and they try to grow as an entire system of network.
So what do you think is next? What's the next step in your research? What's next to look at?
Yeah, I would love to understand how marketing excellence, this new strategy, actually gets implemented. Yeah? So, what are the cultural changes necessary in the companies that are shifting towards marketing excellence? What are the KPIs that need to be monitored over time? What are the milestones? What is the time frame?
Yeah. That's interesting to say cultural. Like what would be the cultural change? Because I think a lot of it sounds like has to do with just not just the implementation, but changing a whole culture that's already been established.
I think so. And I honestly think that key to this change process is getting the right people on board. And so it's one emphasis that I realize in many companies that I talk to is that they still use industry experience as the main criterion for hiring people. I think if you're going for marketing excellence, you need specifically to look out of the industry boundaries, because you will be cooperating with entirely different partners in the future. You need to have new ideas. You need to think much bigger. And I think if you're only hiring from your own industry, that will lead to too homogeneous distributions of the workforce.
Yeah, innovation sounds like too, huh? Plays a key part in this whole thing. Yeah,
it does. Yes.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Sebastian. This has been a really great talk and so very interesting. And I love to hear how you're looking at shifting and implementing something that people really haven't thought that much about. So this has been really, really great. If you'd like to read Sebastian's paper, again, it's titled Marketing Excellence, Nature, Measurement, and Investor Evaluation. Thank you so much for joining us today on our Big Idea Show. We will see you next time.